Sheltering in place, enjoying your own cooking?
Very much so.
Very good. You had to pull out all the old things, all the stops from the past, right?
All the
Remember
stuff
old
I
items?
wasn't using before is now getting used.
Time to clean the shelves.
So Laura, are we good to go, or we want to?
Yep. GIllian, you ready to go?
I am ready to go.
Woohoo.
Okay, so GIllian's going to take over, but in order for everybody to see her, we're going to mute, not only mute your microphone, but also your video, and that way GIllian will pop up and be prominent. So mute yourself, or we'll mute you from behind the scenes. Anita, you want to mute your video as well. Your video, so next to your, there you go.
And Marilyn, are you going to do some initial introductions or anything before I get started?
No, I think you're ready to go. So this is GIllian from Caribbean Caterers, and we're trying this to see, she's going to teach us how to cook a meal tonight. And then after she's done, then everyone come back on and we can talk about just life and go from there. Okay, thanks, GIllian.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Well, hello, everybody. I hope you all can see me well. If not, send Laura a message, but I should be on your screen because I needed to see my stove and my table. But welcome, welcome. Chef, which is our current in the current season, but we'll talk about that later on. I hope you all are all safe and healthy, sheltering in place, and not getting too tired of your own food in the house. So I'm here to help you spice it up a little bit, see how maybe we can prepare menus in a very short space of time. What Laura and I were discussing is, the time it would take you to get to work in traffic should be the time it should take you to do this meal. This feels kind of strange because I don't have someone to talk back to, so I'm talking to you and I am pretending that you're talking back to me so that I can feel comfortable in the discussion. We're going to do 3 things tonight. We are going to do an ahi tuna.
Hey, Ted.
Yes?
I think that was somebody who didn't mute. You're good.
Thank you. So as I said, an ahi tuna, a type of rice that we called calypso rice, and a wilted spinach. So what I wanted to do was, look, I actually went to the store this morning and I looked around and I said, what is still available in the store? And how can we use what's available and do something interesting, different, and not the same old, but that home, may have trouble eating vegetables and different things. So I wanted to show ways to spice, to make things more flavorful so that even teenagers and young people would be interested in eating, not only eating this food, but helping to prepare it as well. Now that everybody is at home, it's almost like it used to be back in the olden times when everybody got involved in the meal preparation. And so here's the opportunity to get the kids back in the kitchen, learning them some things that are really easy, simple, and that they can feel proud of. And of course, at the end of the night, we would plate it. And sorry, I couldn't invite you over to eat it with me, but that would be my dinner tonight. So here goes. My 20 minutes starts right now. The first thing I'm going to do is do some rice. I have just some regular long grain rice. You can use jasmine rice, regular long grain rice. And most people can cook rice on their own, but there's a little trick that we found, and one of my chefs in the olden days taught me to make your rice perfect every single time, and it just takes 20 minutes. And one of the things about rice is you can cook a pot of this jasmine rice or whatever your favorite rice is, and then do so many things as we're going to kind of turn it into something else as we go. So what you're going to do in a regular pot, you're going to put your rice, whatever measure you use for the rice, and I have a regular little teacup, go tips, and I have a half cup of rice here, and you put twice the amount of water. So I live alone, so I don't need to cook a lot of rice. So I just did a half cup of rice, and I'm going to add a cup of water to that. To that, I would add just a splash of salt. For those who don't need salt, you can leave that out because, again, we're going to season this later on with other things. And so if you have any health issues where you don't need to use salt, then you can leave that out. I always give it a little stir just to get those rice grains off the bottom of the pot so they don't stick. And here's the trick. A little olive oil, good high quality olive oil, not, I was about to say not the cheap stuff, but the good stuff is expensive, but it is much better for you, adds a lot of nutrients to your rice, and it changes the texture of that rice. So I just put like a teaspoon of that olive oil in there, and as you can see, I don't do much measuring. You put this on the stove, cover down. Now I hope you guys can see this here. I'm gonna move it to the back because I'm not going to disturb it at all. So I'm gonna keep the front burner so that you can see what I'm doing for the other part. So it's in the back here, and I'm gonna turn it on high, and it will come to a boil in a short while. So I'm gonna keep my eye on it, and then I'm gonna turn it down to low for 20 minutes. You don't touch it, you don't open it, the rice is steaming. And so all the nutrients would flow back into the rice as it cooks. So the one thing you do not want to do with your rice is open that pot. So I'll watch it carefully. As soon as it starts to bubble, I'll turn it off from high to low for 20 minutes. That's it. Rice is done until we go to season it and make it something different a little later on. So that's one on. The next thing I'm going to do is get the tuna on. I purchased at Giant this morning. I kept the package just so that you can see. Just a regular wild caught ahi tuna. I support local farmers, so I go to the farmers market. It's great for the local economy, plus the fish is a lot more fresh. It's never been frozen. So that's what my preference is. But I wanted to give you things that are readily available. But please, if you are a purist, go down to the farmers market and get you some fresh fish. And so I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do here, because I'm going to show you another trick with the fish for the flavor. And so it comes in these vacuum sealed pouches. You just get those right out from there. That's one. I hope you guys can see this okay. And that's two. There were 2 pouches in that one bag that I purchased this morning. Right. That's it. I'm sorry, my sink is on the back. I'm just going to drain off the excess liquid that was in there. And this was a frozen product at Giant this morning. And now, my secret ingredient, a lemon, really very important. I'll show you my cutting board out here. And so, this is a step not to be missed. Not lemon juice in the bottle, a real lemon. There's something, the oils, the lemon zest and the skin of the lemon is very important. Beside the aromatherapy that you get for yourself, it does begin to tenderize and flavor the meat of the tuna. So I am just going to squeeze this right on here, turn it, get it on both sides, and my rice is boiling. I'm just going to turn that down to low and leave that 20 minutes on the timer. Right, done. Don't even have to worry about that. You could go watch a movie now. Rice is done. So you get that lemon juice on there. make sure you're really washing the steaks in the juice. And I'm going to go back to the sink and just rinse this off just a little bit. So that was just rinsed in cold water, and I'm going to pat the steaks dry here. That's one. That's two. And that's it. You've actually started the cooking preparation of the fish with that step. It's a step a lot of people miss, but I promise if you try it, you will see the difference with your seafood and your meat. You can do this with meat as well. So now your steaks are ready to go. I am just going to encrust the steaks with some seasonings. This is where you can have any flavor that you would like. I have done grilling, my favorite grilling sauce. I'm still going to sear it on the stove top, but you can use a grilling sauce. You can make your own spice blend. You can buy a ready-made spice blend. So I'm going to just put this to the side and we would blend up some spices. And so I am going to use just some oregano. This is my favorite. And again, fresh is even better than dry. So if you have a backyard or again, back at the farmer's market, that would be a nice thing to do, is to get fresh herbs here. I am so sorry. This is some basil leaves. And I put them sort of the same amount each. There are some spices that I personally like more than others. And so you get to get your own flavor and make different things. I'm going to use some parsley flakes in here as well. I'm going to do some black pepper. And finally, our trusty Old Bay seasoning. And because I'm using Old Bay, I'm going to hold the salt. So I'm going to put a pair of gloves on here so I can really rub my fish down. So I just mix this blend. And again, this could be anything you would like it to be. So you mix your blend, and then you go back to your trusty olive oil. You drizzle some of that olive oil on your tuna steaks because you want something to have the seasonings adhere to. So I am just basically dousing my steaks with the olive oil. And then here is where the magic happens. And before I start that, I'm just going to put my stove on. I have my regular little skillet on a burner. I'm going to turn it on just between medium high and high. Not right on high, but not as low as medium high, because you do want it hot so that the seasonings get seared into the tuna. So I am just going to pack these seasonings on. Now, if I have a big family and I'm doing a lot of fish, I would just have my mixture on a baking sheet and just dip like you would do if you're doing, breading chicken or anything like that. So basically you are encrusting the steaks with your seasoning here. And that is all that takes. Nice and easy. I like to get every last bit because I am a seasoning person. So the trick is in the blend. You can use the blend that I suggested, or as you get proficient or like to experiment with different flavors, you certainly can do lots of different things. So we go over here and our stove is nice and hot, and we're going to get that on as soon as it's ready. Now, while I'm waiting on my pan to get to the perfect temperature here, the next item, the final item for the dinner, is a wilted spinach. I have purchased regular baby spinach. You know, you've seen this in the store, regular old baby spinach. And again, if you're a purist, the farmer's market is great. Your backyard is even better. You can get seeds on the internet at Sam's Club, throw them in a little pot outside, and in 3 weeks, you have baby spinach. It's really wonderful. So that's coming up next. So I think my pot is ready. Now, I'm wondering if you guys are going to be able to see this. I don't have a cameraman. I live alone and I couldn't invite anybody over to help me. And so this is a bit of a challenge because I don't have a view for you to see what's going to happen in the pot. So I'm going to start it up and maybe I'll bring it and show you on the screen. So I hope you can hear that searing. Are you hearing the sizzling? Okay, I'm smelling it. It smells great. I'm going to put the other one in. And we are just literally going to leave that on there for a few moments. Let that get encrusted on one side. We're going to turn it over on the other side. Let that side get encrusted. And if you like your fish rare, then that will be all. It will be done. If you like your fish a little more cooked or cooked all the way through, then you just want to finish it in the oven while you're preparing the rest of the meal. So you can turn your oven on like 250, something a low oven, unless you want it really cooked through, but then your tuna gets pretty tough. But if you want to maintain a tender steak, you must put the oven at around 250 and put it in there just for 10 minutes or so while you finish off the rest of the meal, and then your plate will be perfectly fine. But if you like it rare, then once it's finished here, that's it, you're done. Okay, so the rice is coming along, the tuna is on, the spinach is going to get cooked in the sauces from the tuna in a minute, so I'm cooking it in the same pot. So the only thing that's left to do is to finish off, to season differently the rice. So I'm going to start getting that ready for you. And so I'll put the spinach aside for a minute. And so your rice is on. I actually have had cooked rice in my fridge from the weekend, so I'm going to use this. But you would have waited your 20 minutes and then use that. But here, I actually prefer to use the rice once it's cold because it holds better than when the rice is hot from the pot. So with the rice, we are going to use some chopped garlic. Now you can get this already chopped in the store, purchased, or you can buy your fresh garlic and chop or grate your garlic. So that's garlic. But then the ingredient in this dish is going to be ginger. This is where all the great flavor in this dish is going to come from. Ginger, we want to buy it fresh. We're not talking about the powder or the granules. We're talking fresh ginger. Again, I bought this at Giant this morning. And so you just want to use just a little piece. Now, if you like me and love the flavor of ginger, because it's got a lot of sensitive qualities, lots of antioxidants and so on, ginger is really very good for you. If you like the flavor of ginger, then you can use more. But if you're just getting used to it, you might just want to keep it light for the moment. So ginger is really very easy. And let me just turn my steak here one moment. Yeah, actually, I hope you can see it. I'm getting some nice opaque things going on at the bottom there. And I am going to just turn them over and let the encrusting happen on the other side. So there you have the first side crusted. Very smoky. I don't want to turn the air on because it might make too much noise, but it is creating a good bit of smoke on here. So that'll finish in a moment. And so back to my ginger for the rice. So you just break off a piece of the ginger and then you scrape the skin off. That's it. And once you start scraping that skin off, let me come this way. Once you start scraping that skin off, you get that glorious aroma of the ginger. And that's it. Scrape the skin off, it comes off pretty easily. That's all you need. I actually, once I harvest ginger and wash it really good, I grate everything, skin and all. But you know, most people prefer to grate it. And so again, for me, because I love the flavor of ginger, I grate on the fat side because I like to taste the ginger. If you just want to have the hint of ginger, then you want to use the thin side so that it really blends with the food. So I'm going to use the fat side because this is my dinner. So it's that easy, just like grating cheese or carrots or anything else. That's it. That's all, and it smells wonderful. And so I have some ginger and I have some garlic, and that's what I need to start my rice. Now for my rice, I'm going to add some trusty mixed vegetables. Again, this is regular frozen vegetables. I like to chop my carrots and cut my corn and so on. But this was frozen vegetables from the pack. And so I'm going to get another pot on that we're going to start to saute these vegetables, get some flavor into the vegetables, and fold the rice in. And that would be all right. And I think my fish is done. Here you are. Let me turn this off. Transfer this to a plate. And there you are. That's it. I think what we're into maybe 10 minutes and your fish is done. So we could have used the same pot for the rice, but I'm going to start that on another because I do want to do the spinach on the pot with the fish. So I'm going to come over here and get this one on. Again, I live and die by a good quality olive oil. And so we get a little bit of that in there. I'm putting about a tablespoon. Oops, I don't think you could see me on that one. I just put about a tablespoon of oil in there. I turned my burner up on high, actually medium high. And that oil is going to get a little bit warm. And I'm going to add a little bit of garlic and all of my ginger, get that aromatic flavors going before I add my mixed vegetables. Now another item that I'm going to add with the mixed vegetables that goes in a little bit later so I can start to chop it now as I wait is some fresh parsley. So here we have some fresh parsley. This is from my backyard, but again, you get this in the store. So you just want to chop some fresh parsley. Pretty simple stuff, nothing fancy. Should have chopped this before, but I forgot. But as you can see, you keep it fresh in your water, rinse and ready to go. It is ready for you in no time. So that's ready to go in at the end of my rice cooking. So my oil is getting hot. And I'm going to start with the garlic and ginger. It's not quite hot enough yet. So I hope this is going well for you. I know this is one way, so I can't answer any questions. It feels a little bit strange, but I know you're there. I think that's it.
So if people want to unmute and ask GIllian questions about the meal.
Okay, I'm getting the garlic in now. So I'm using just about a teaspoon of garlic in there. There's crushed garlic. Again, I hope you can hear the sizzle going. And I'm going to add all of this ginger in here. Again, you will you will begin to know your taste for ginger. Some people like it. Some people want just a hint of it. So again, I am just lightly sauteing those two, and I am going to add my mixed vegetables. This is going to flavor your mixed vegetables in a way that you may not have. Pardon me. I hope you can still hear me over the noise. The ginger and the garlic will flavor your mixed vegetables in a way that you might not have experienced before. Now the mixed vegetables are frozen, so that's why we want to keep that burner high so that they can come off of the freeze, but not so high that it burns. So you have to watch this very, very carefully. The fine line here between being done and being burnt. So you want to keep moving, get that flavor all infused. And again, without that second camera part to show you, I hope this makes sense for you here. So let's keep cooking that there. And then if you do salt, you can add a shaking of salt. I mean, just literally a shaking, because we did put some salt in the rice as well. Parsley, whenever you use fresh parsley in particular, it does impart a bit of a salty flavor with the potassium that's in parsley. And if you like more spices, you can add black pepper or anything else that you would like here. But the key is to get these vegetables nice and flavorful. So I am quite used to this recipe, so I don't have to taste, but you can taste and decide, do you want some more ginger? Do you want some more garlic? Get your vegetables nice and tasty, because once you fold your rice in, then any flavors that you add don't get a chance to mix in. Plus, when your kids eat these vegetables, they say, what? I'll be eating carrots and green beans from now on if they taste like this. Okay, so I think we're good here. It's that quick. Let me let you see it. All right, it is everything's cooked through, nothing frozen in there still. And I can smell the garlic and the ginger. The smell changes once it starts cooking, so you know that it's good. So I am going to add my parsley in here now. This was the fresh parsley we just chopped. If you don't have fresh parsley, you can use the dry parsley, but there's something special about the flavor of some fresh parsley at this point. So I'm going to mix that in, and now I'm going to turn the burner down because my vegetables are well cooked. They're not frozen anymore, so I don't want them to burn or get too crunchy at this stage. So now I am just going to fold in some of my rice. So this rice is rice I have in the fridge. Actually, the rice that we were cooking before is perfectly done. Turn the burner off. That would have been ready to go in. But I am going to use some of this rice that I had previously. So this is about a cup of rice. Now I used about a half bag of the frozen peas from the store. I'm going to turn the burner down a little bit more because now that I've added the rice, everything in here is dry. So you can see where if you don't keep moving it, it will start to stick on the bottom, and you don't want that to happen. So let me give you a look and hope that you can see. I wish that you could smell, but I am just blending the rice and the vegetables at this point, just folding it in. And since there's not a lot of heat on here, the parsley and so on are not going to get burnt. They're going to remain a little bit fresh and have that great flavor for you in there. And that is it for the rice. Rice is all done. Okay, that is dish number 2. The final thing is the wilted spinach. Now I am going to turn my small pot back on. Now that tuna did not yield me much sauce. A lot of fish, if you're using sockeye salmon or many of the oily fish, they do give you some draining on here, which is really good to wilt the spinach in so that it gets that great flavor. But as you can see, I got just a little bit of flavor on the bottom here. So I'm going to have to embellish. This wasn't hot. I'm making this up now. So I go back to my trusty olive oil, just a little dab of that. Don't need too much. Again, I put maybe half teaspoon of my olive oil, just sort of coat my pan. I'm going to grab my spinach. But because I didn't have much sauce there, I think I'm going to add some onion. Okay, this wasn't hot, guys, but this is what you do when you're in the kitchen. You gotta make it right. That spinach has got to taste good. So I grabbed an onion from my basket right here. I am just gonna put a small amount. I don't have too much spinach. So I'm just gonna take a little end of it. Get that skin off. Sorry, let me let you see. Get that skin of the onion off and hope I don't start to cry. And I'm just going to make some really nice thin slivers on here. Not very rough, nothing fancy, because I just want a little extra flavor for my spinach. Because remember, the kids have to eat this, right? You want to make sure that they don't turn up their noses. So here we are, just a little bit of here. My oil is ready. I am going to go ahead and add my garlic. I had a little garlic left from before. So it's just like a little teaspoon of garlic. I'm going to add all of this onion. And that was just a quarter, this much, just a small piece of this large onion. And I need another spoon. So I am just giving this, letting these flavors meld with the olive oil, the garlic and the onion, just very lightly. I like to say just to get it to be aromatic, and you would know, you would begin. Oops, I didn't turn my burner on. You would know when it starts to get aromatic. The onions get opaque, and that smell is just, you can see it's starting to get a little bit caramelized almost right there. And basically that is all I need, because wilting spinach is like a 1 minute exercise. You're just going to take all your spinach and put it right into the pot and let that heat come up. And I use my hands right in this pot to sort of, maybe you shouldn't do this at home. Maybe you should use a spoon. And so this pot is small for this spinach, but spinach is going to cook down to almost nothing. And the reason I use my hand is because it can't get contained, and I want to move it, and I can't really turn it with the spoon. So maybe you should just use a larger pot.
What temperature is your pot on?
This is on medium. So very light for the spinach. We just want to keep that heat coming up just to wilt it. We're not trying to cook it down. We just want it to wilt. You can see I started with a pot full, and it's halfway down into the pot already. And so I just keep going here. I think I can actually turn it now. Yep. I don't know if you can see this, guys. And now, as I said, I'm turning the burner down a little bit more because it's not yielding a lot of liquid. I bought this spinach at Giants this morning, and spinach usually has a lot of liquid that you don't have to add additional liquid. It will cook in its own liquid, which which enhances the flavor even more, and then it doesn't get too wet. So I'm turning this down so that its liquids can pull out. You can see, can you see that? That it is wilting. At this point, I am going to turn the burner off because I have an electric stove. And so that heat is going to keep rising here. So the warmth of this burner is enough to finish wilting this. It took me, what, a minute and a half maybe. And I am actually going to, there you go. I am actually going to take it off of the hot burner because now the heat of the pan itself is going to continue cooking that spinach while I get ready to plate your meal. So that spinach is actually still cooking, even though it's not on the burner. So let's see, let's bring our ahi tuna steaks back into view, and you see there's a little bit of juice rolling out there. Let's see, I'm going to bring in a plate. Let's get this plated up for dinner. Let's see. Now you can just spoon the rice into the plate if you wanted, but I'm gonna, you know, people eat with their eyes before they eat with their bellies. And so if the food looks great, they'll want to eat it, right? Regardless of what it tastes like. Now it's gonna taste great as well, but it has to look good first. So I'm actually going to mold the rice. I'm just gonna use a regular plastic drink cup. And I'm going to put a spoonful or two of rice in there. The rice is still nice and hot. I'm going to press it down. That's why I put the gloves, because it's nice and hot. And I'm going to press it down into the cup. And you see, oops, I'm too far up. Did you guys see what I did? I just pressed the rice into the cup. And if this works nicely, it should just unmold for me right there on the plate, right, like so. Then we are going to take our fish. Actually, sorry, we're going to put our spinach first. Turn the plate towards you. I am getting that spinach on there. I probably have 2 good servings of spinach from what I did. And then I am going to get my fish on here. And normally I have a nice sauce with my fish that I could have poured over there, but this fish did not use much. I think I'm not used to cooking frozen fish. I purchase fresh fish usually, and that gives me way enough sauce to be able to have a sauce for here. But this fish is going to be very tender and juicy because we just seared it on both sides for what, maybe 2 or 3 minutes on each side. So it's going to be nice and tender and juicy inside. I think I'm going to cut open the other one so that you can see. But let's finish this plate off because there's something I'm thinking. There's something that's missing on this plate. Are you seeing the plate? Spinach is full of iron and a lot of other nutrients. And one of the things that you want to eat with a iron-rich sauce is vitamin C. Our bodies can't store vitamin C, so you need to consume vitamin C when you're eating iron-rich foods so that your body can make the maximize the use of the iron. So I am going to add a little tomato relish to this dish. So again, I'm improvising. Am I over my time? I think I'm over my time. But
you're doing great.
Okay. I'm just going to do this really quickly. I probably would have done it differently had I thought it before. So I'm just going to make like a little bowl. So there's some tomatoes. If in the summertime, when you have fresh basil, that would be best. You chop some fresh basil. I'm just going to use the dry leaves for now. And so just a little dash of dried basil leaves. If salt is okay for you, just a pinch of salt on here. If you like things like black pepper and so on, give this a nice mix. Actually, something that would be nice is a little bit of acidity. So you can use like maybe an apple cider vinegar, or if you had a flavored vinegar, just a tiny amount. But since I have a little lemon sitting right here, guess what? I am going to squeeze. And if you saw that, it was just like squeeze, squeeze. It wasn't much because it's not a lot of tomatoes. It's just that much. So I am just going to mix this, and this is going to be like a little relish, and then put that on my plate. Oops, you can't see the plate. Okay, and get that on here. It adds some color. It adds some juiciness right there to my plate. And then I am going to finish off with a little garnish. Maybe that's too much. Just do a little something on there. And there you are, dinner tonight. How long did I take? Maybe 3 minutes. Talking too much. Guys, that's it for your dinner tonight.
So that's great. Let's, before everybody pops back on, I want to get a picture of this. It's gorgeous.
Ah, well, but do I have to tilt it up for you?
Yeah, that would be great.
Let me get the tuna. Can you see that?
Yes, perfect. Thank you. Okay, if
Thank you,
everybody wants to
GIllian.
pop back on.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you guys for letting me into your kitchens. I hope you were cooking along. Who was cooking with me?
I was cooking with you,
I wish I was.
but another, my dinner. So anybody have